Hello and welcome. It is the 17th day of March 2017. It is a Friday, and welcome to today's video taking a look at silver and the Bitcoin charts. And this is the first pop since the decline to the key Fibonacci point, as well the 18 average band. It was due for one. It has now had one, so test time. I don't know what's going to happen at this stage. I'm looking at this previous support, as well as, well, probably within this 61.8% down, and where it is now is 38% down as key areas, yeah. But if this area holds, especially at around 17 and few change, small change, 1706, 17.5 area. If it holds this range and then makes moves back up here, it could have an easy pop up to this point, breaking above there, showing as if that this is going to work out to be a failed breakdown. Usually if you have a significant leg like this, these first tests aren't going to end well on a bullish level, either going sideways, and well, who knows after that, but either a sideways movement or further downside, breaking this low and then making patterns of lower highs and lower lows, which this chart has been doing quite frequently with over the last close to 6 years. So that's really the analysis that all I can give within the silver market. The week is coming to an end, so I'll go over some of the more longer term charts over the weekend. And now let's move on to Bitcoin. But before we do, within the crypto community, it's interesting when I read comments like this. Any particular reason why Steam went nuts? And I cannot reply to Pacific Nomad, nor am I chatting in this screen or this program. But yeah, there's a particular reason why it went nuts. That's because of a thing called Fibonacci, which has done so well historically. And what I wrote was, this was when the price was 68.41 at March 9th at around 8:36 p.m. Eastern Time. And it only had volume of 31 at this time. It is much higher now. But November Steam had a couple of good bounces and one half-assed one on January 16th. But this is just going lower and lower. The key range was between 13,000 and 45,000, leaving down fib at 6,073, which is very close to price action. I am making a wager on a pierce below the down fib level I talk about for a bounce. And the next day, when I was actually releasing this, which was March the 10th, right around 3 o'clock that day, the price action hit the level where I am now long for a large bounce. My first sell order is in at 6,600, which came in that day, and I bought it back at 6,200 again. And a couple other times I sold at 6,600 and 7,000 and back at 62. And it actually stayed rough. I think it was at 60.73. I think it was an exact hit. I really do. It was pretty much staying at very close to 6,100 for several periods throughout the week. It was really cool to see, actually. So, and there's the range to sell to if, yeah, that would be the reason why it occurred. So let's move on to the Bitcoin charts in itself. And I said originally I was going to ignore this, and that would be wrong of me, the Fibonacci that is, but I want to test it to see if it's going to be relevant, and so far just maybe so, because the first key Fibonacci was not support. But what happens when you're not support? A relatively fast move to the next one, boom. And that's normal to have a pierce. Usually it's a pierce below, and it is in here, and now it's had a decent sized rally up to this point. Interesting dilemma. We were in the situation of upward bias in neutrality. That's surely changed. Then the movement was attempting to make this bearish. Well, I guess I'm going to count this as support established. I'll give you that. So any move back to the band, which is right now, I can tell you going below here is going to be time to be getting bearish. But that would be in the situation of such. any move back within the band will strengthen your bullish bias to neutrality, because it'd be in this neutral mode. But after this type of move, hey, that looks pretty good. Now shortening this out to the this, I do this often in wrong dates, but shorten this out to the 15-minute time frame. We have the last highs of 1260 and these lows in at 1077. So therefore, what I am seeing here is, after several declines within this 18 average band, making many lower lows, well, there's a higher low in here. It's going to be a higher high and most likely a higher one over here. 18 average band is now rising. And since that point, what has happened is this move up here. I'm looking for a retracement back to the band, but you know what? That's close, but the same sort of ideologies in play. I mean, it's back to this previous resistance point area breaking through. It's looking as if now it wants to make a play for this level for yet another key test. And yeah, that's definitely breaking short term all of its bearishness it's had throughout the last day. It's now switching over into bullish territory. Now, I've also been making a Bitcoin index very similar to the dollar index. It's going to take some time for it to actually show some movement, because there's only 3.5 days of inception for it, and some of these highs and lows, or many of them, are going to be higher and lower. Like, I'm sure this one might have been down here maybe, because there's going to be times where I do not see what the actual index is, and all I'm doing is I'm taking the these cryptos, and this is how many BTCs I deposited in each one, which started off with a balance of 247.98, and right now the balance is around 330 something. But I just take 1 divided by that number, so 1 divided by this, and then multiply it by about 100 million or something, and then I get these numbers here. And what the index has done is went from 400 to below 300, or lost 33% of its value. This day was on the Bitcoin decline, but this was going down when Bitcoin was not. So this is a good indicator to state, okay, when this thing is down, you're going to be wanting to be trading Bitcoin for other cryptocurrencies. And if this thing is going down, and the Bitcoin also is going down, you also might be wanting to sell Bitcoin for dollars as well, obviously for the short-term time frame. When this thing is in bullish mode, then that means you're going to be most likely long Bitcoin against the dollar, because it's probably going to be going up against it almost all the time. And when it's doing well against cryptos, then you want to be getting out of the positions, trading less share sizes, and maybe not even trading much at all, and being into just a couple or 3 different codes when this is going high. Right now, I mean, I'm in Dash, Ethereum, Monero, plus about a 6, 7, 8 other ones right now, because they've been winning. And I can expect that on an increase, a lot of them would just start to roll over. And yeah, so they have to roll over because that's what they're priced in. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great weekend. Bye-bye.